Forspoken has me feeling bad for it because of one thing and one thing only. The presentation, the look, and everything involving Forspoken has probably set up people's expectations to be a great game. However, it is a great game in its own light. Let's talk about it. Yo, what you know, it's your boy One Hero back on YouTube with the new episode. Now let's go. So, for clarification, Forspoken demo dropped after the Game Awards. Everybody went to go and play it, and there were a lot of people coming back from saying the game is bad, trash, wonky, clunky, you name it, they claim it. I, however, am still excited for the game because I started to draw my own conclusion and my own expectation level with the game as I actually paid attention to each video that was dropped. I went from believing it being a story-heavy game. It was going to be AAA quality. I'm talking like Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. But in reality, we still don't know that. This is only a sample size of the demo. But again, my expectation is it's going to be maybe a 6 or a 7 for the story. We're not going to really care much about it. But if you like the open world exploration, collecting things, fighting the different beasts, learning the combat system with all of the different magical abilities, upgrading the character, getting all of the cloaks, painting her nails with different designs and stuff like that, then yes, this is a game for you. I think with its presentation and what the game stands for, brought out everybody that wants a AAA major game. However, this game is really meant for a niche crowd. Now, I know they're putting it out there for everybody in the world to see, and yes, that's a double-edged sword. It's gonna take some to lose some, it's gonna take some wins to lose some, right? And that's what you're doing. You're getting it out there in front of everybody. So naturally, a game that looks this good with this much presentation, promotion, advertising, backing, belief, people are gonna go in like, yep, we've seen it with Gotham Knights, Godfall, all of those games that look AAA quality, and then they deliver on a subpar experience because of the expectation that was set. So me coming from the expectation of, oh, this game will be okay, but I'm gonna enjoy it because it's made for me. So like a Nintendo console, not everybody owns one. Mario games, not everybody's played them. Minecraft, not everybody's played that. Animal Crossing, not made for everybody. Stardew Valley, like there's games out there that have very cult and niche groups that they play those things because they really enjoy it. Not a lot of people have played The Sims either. So I think that Forspoken is in that realm of games where it's not meant to be played by everybody, but everybody's gonna give it a shot and a chance and speak their piece. If the game's not for you, then yeah, carry on, my wayward son. It's not that big of a deal. You shouldn't be bashing the game and all of that stuff and promoting the negative things. Just be like, hey, I tried Forspoken. I had the expectation of this, it did not meet that, that's why I'm moving on. Versus a lot of the negativity bashing for the game is where it's a little bit more problematic for people that are like, come on, like really, is it that necessary? But I feel like that's Karen behavior, but that's besides the point. The combat system is very intuitive with the magical abilities built into it, but how you can switch in and out. They give you a grading system like Devil May Cry, so they really want you to get out there and experience the combat with the dodging, the parkour, the lifting, the switching of the abilities on the fly, putting things together and making combos. Like it's a really, really good combat, and I think that stands out. It's just it's not for everybody because you don't know how to put together combos if you're not used to it, and it takes some time to get into those controls because you can't just pick that up and play. Trust me, I tried. Now, however, one of the things that I noticed that I think may feel clunky for people is that I believe sometimes when you're in the middle of a combo or an attack, the game will launch you past your target. Mid-combo or at the end of the combo, you think the person's dead, you turn around, they're getting up or they're still up. They do give you finishing animations to take down the rest of the enemies. So yeah, I can see how that could be something of a problematic thing. But again, it's still a sample. We have not got the full game. We don't know what they could put as far as finishing touches, but I think that maybe within a month and a half to 2 months left of development or whatever, the game's done. I don't know how much more they could do, say, or change. After going through the game and actually playing more of it, like I said, the combat stands out to me. I love the fact that each cloak and all of the different artifacts you can collect have different abilities. So again, it's about building out your character. It's very similar to how people don't like Genshin, because I don't want to sit there and have to build up this character and change this equipment out and put this piece on here and put that thing on there. It has its RPG elements. It has its JRPG elements. It has its open world aspect. And I think that, yeah, it has a lot of great elements. It's trying to be its own thing in its own way while still appealing to the massive crowd, more or less. I don't personally think it deserves a lot of the negative bashing about it because it's not like they've been promoting the game as this will be the best game of all time. This will have one of the best stories you've ever seen. It's not doing that. It's just presenting itself as a game, as Forspoken, with Freya in the center of it all, being transported from one world to another and deciding trying to get home or to save this. We've seen plenty of movies like that. Never Neverland and all these other movies that have been out in the last millennia that we've seen that have this same kind of storyline. So I think the expectation for gaming at this point is we want more of the same. We want different, but then we don't want different. So it's very weird to see how those things go. And I'm okay with people calling developers out on their BS if they drop a crappy game. But we've also seen games make a big turnaround, or in the light, they were never really bad from the get-go. So the way I see it is this: if we remove our preferences and our thought process for the games that we want, and we look at a game and simply ask ourselves the main questions of, is it doing what it's supposed to do? Is it working how it's supposed to work? Are there any bugs? Are there any glitches? Are there any things like that? If your answer to all of those would be no, or maybe yes to one of those, then the game is not bad itself. It's just really going to be your preference and your expectations that it did not live up to. And again, if a game comes out saying that we're going to be the best game ever, or it promotes itself as it's going to do this and it does not deliver on what it was said and promised, then yeah, I agree 100%. It deserves to be put in its place and checked for those things, because nobody wants to be lied to, nobody wants to be swindled out of their money, and nobody wants to waste their time, because time is the most valuable thing we all have that we cannot get back. But again, it may be me. Like I said, my opinion and my view of the game is coming from a very biased standpoint, because I understand the game differently than most of the people that have talked bad about the game, to even the people that like the game. They like it for a various reason that is completely different than mine, whereas people that hate the game hate it for various reasons that are nowhere near what I want. But I looked at the game and I'm like, is it doing what I thought it was going to do? Yes. Is it doing what it needs to do as a game for open world exploration, for the traveling, for the combat? Are there things hitching up? Those are the things that I went into looking for. And I don't think a lot of people do that, which again, not everybody is meant to look or think or be the same. Otherwise, the world would be a very boring place indeed. But however, for those out there that are still like on the end, stick around, watch me play the game, watch other people play the game, and see what you think about it to see if it's something that you would like. Because for me personally, it's going to be a game I'm going to sit back and just play and enjoy when I can, play it on stream, create some content around the combat and explorating and everything like that, because I like cinematic gameplay and I like doing cinematic edits. So that's why I say, again, my standpoint is from a very biased way. But I also didn't think Gotham Knights was bad either. It didn't deliver on what we all wanted it to, but it works as a game. It does. Just like God of War did. It works as a game, ins and out, after all of the updates and everything like that. I wait, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I will say yes, out the gate, you were struggling. At the end of the day, it did its job when they got everything done. And it did its job for what it was supposed to be, which is a action beat 'em up, Streets of Rage, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons, smash 'em brawler type of game. It wasn't meant to be nothing more than that. It just happened to look like a AAA fidelity game, and we expected more. When we really should be mad at stuff like Anthem, The Division, Watch Dogs. Those games were presented to us to deliver us this grand expectation because of what it set, the stage it set, the words that were said, the things that were delivered, the promotional material that was out there. And when it did not deliver on that, that is when we were able to come together as a community across games and say, hey, nah, this ain't right. E3, you baited us. I can't believe you did that. That's horrible. That's garbage, blah, blah, blah. So yes, when games do stuff like that, that's when it deserves to be put up there on the pedestal. The Order 1886, another prime example of a game that was presented to be this wonderful looking game with a great story, ready to go out there and play it, and then out of nowhere, it's only like 6 hours of actual gameplay, and you spent $60 on the dang thing. I still to this day am mad about the Order 1886, because that game, in a 4-person co-op game, or at least duo gameplay game, in a fully fledged out open world or a good linear story stretched out over 3 to 4 games, would have been top tier. You want to talk about something I'm mad about, that I would say is trash, that I'm upset about? That is one of them, 100%. But with that, be great, be you. Fly easy till next time, heroes, and hit that like, comment, subscribe, or whatever you want to do to enjoy me on the next flight. Peace.